Hello and welcome into Talking Bengals. We got a full cast of hosts here tonight because you know what's important, our listeners, and talking about the exciting stuff that the Bengals have done in free agency. So, welcome back to the Prodigal Son. Zach, how you doing?
Doing fantastic. Just enjoying my time in Toronto here. Getting ready for make the roster.
Yeah, he's down there, of course, in the Tampa area at the Blue Jays spring training facility. I mean, if only life would have turned out much different if that was
Right?
the case. But instead, he's sitting somewhere in Alabama. So it is what it is.
Wow.
Josh, how you doing?
Oh, it's looking up now, man. Looking up.
Like it. Oop.
How about them Bengals, man? Making some moves. That is the
Some
first
moves.
offseason I've actually been pretty excited about these free agent moves.
Yeah, there seem to be finding ways to fill all the gaps that they have. And I mean, really, they've not had to back themselves into a corner in the draft, I don't feel like. I mean, could you add a little bit more depth at offensive tackle and defensive tackle? Sure. Could you add another tight end? Sure. More running backs? Sure. But there's no like gigantic glaring hole right now where you're like, holy crap, this has to be the pick. You got a lot of options to go. And with it being March Madness time of year, we're actually going to do a bracket based on the Bengals free agents. And we're going to let different portions of the host crew here pick who gets to pick which matchup. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do-do. It's the final countdown for all you people that are under our age and don't know what that song is. All right. Does everybody see the screen okay?
It's loading.
Well, for those of you at home who cannot see the screen because you're only listening, you should get our beautiful faces on YouTube because who doesn't want to see a bunch of mid-30s white guys? I'm just saying.
I'm going to be honest with you. They are faces. I don't know about the beautiful part. Just
They are faces. Also look us up on the Book of Faces. If you want to check us out there, Talking Bengals. But I digress. So for those just listening, we have an 8-team bracket here. By team, I mean free agents. So I will name the different groups as we get to them. But the first one up is the number 1 overall seed, Sheldon Rankins, versus the number 8 overall seed, Drew Sample. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one to Zach.
I think the Sheldon Rankins definitely overtakes Drew Sample. Like Drew Sample to death, but Sheldon Rankins actually brings value to his position. He played really well with Trey in New Orleans. Went to Houston, balled out there. So pretty excited about that one. I think that one is there. And yeah, Sample on the other hand, he's been with the team. He's been a longevity player. Fill in when we needed him, but he doesn't bring the excitement that Sheldon brings.
Solid but not exciting is the synopsis there.
Exactly.
I like it. I'd take Sheldon Rankins too. So now let's see. We're going to go with the number 2 overall seed, Zach Moss, versus the number 7 seed, Tanner Hudson. And I'm going to give that one to Josh.
Well, I'm going to start off with I know Sheldon Rankins is new here, but there is no G.
Oh, man. There we go.
But hey, I would say this one's going to have to go to Zach Moss. This might be the closest of the choices. But Tanner Hudson, he's a solid tight end. He's not going to be the number 1 though. Zach Moss, I think he's going to end up taking the number 1 spot from Brown just because of the way he runs. Brown is a speed guy. He's got some crazy speed, and if he gets out in space, he's going to demolish you. But I would say Zach Moss is going to end up taking that spot, just more yards per carry. And I think that is why he's going to take over Tanner Hudson in this spot.
Okay, I can see that. I mean, I'll go with Zach Moss there. That's why I got the number 2 overall seed. So, Nick, I'm going to let you pick. Which matchup do you want to talk about?
I'll take Geno Stone and Trent Brown.
All right, go for it.
I think Geno is probably going to be the pick there. Trent Brown, I think his size is going to definitely play really well into our line, having two huge tackles. But I think Geno Stone definitely. Having a strong safety in the defensive backfield, I think that's going to be a bigger impact for the Bengals. Just simply overall, I think they're both going to have great impact, but I think Geno Stone's probably going to have a little bit more. He's going to be able to break up some passes, maybe get a couple interceptions.
I like it. Well, I'm going to go with the last group over here, and it's going to be Mike Gesicki. Why? Because as much as I feel like Von Bell is going to be of value to this team, I think your starting safeties are going to be Jordan Battle and Geno Stone. So Von Bell's there as your insurance policy. He's going to come in and play when they need him to, but he's not going to be your every down person. So with that in mind, I don't think you can advance him to the next round. I think Mike is going to be a pivotal player. He's going to offer that tight end / receiver option because he's big, he's tall, he's fast, and he can do things that, no offense to Tanner Hudson or Drew Sample, that they just don't do. They are very traditional tight ends, where he's kind of that hybrid wide receiver tight end kind of guy. So that's why I'm going to go with Gesicki. So this time, you're going to have to work with a partner in this round to figure out who gets to advance. So for fun's sake here, we're going to put Nick and Josh together. You get to pick Sheldon Rankins and Geno Stone. You have to make arguments to each other and figure out who actually goes. Nick, you get Sheldon Rankins. Josh, you get Geno Stone. Go.
I'll let you go first, Josh. I'll be a gentleman. Age first.
So sweet of you. Thanks. So age before beauty. I get it.
Yeah, that's right. I'm prettier.
So I've got Geno Stone. I mean, Geno Stone, he's definitely going to be the number one safety on the team. I think he's going to be the deep safety that helps the Bengals not get burnt so much down the field, which they were one of the last teams in the league at allowing explosive plays. So Geno Stone is going to be that insurance policy against that. He's got the capability, he's got the know-how, he's got the skill. Not the most athletic guy on the planet, but he knows how to be where he needs to be to make sure he can break up a pass, intercept a pass, trick the quarterback into going someplace he shouldn't. I think he is going to be the best choice for safety that the Bengals have had since probably 3 or 4 years.
So, Nick, defend Sheldon Rankins.
So, I think that Geno Stone, while he is going to be a huge impact player on defense, I don't think he's going to be as big of an impact as Sheldon Rankins. Sheldon Rankins wreaks havoc on offenses. He wreaked havoc on us. He's wreaked havoc across the AFC. I think he's going to be a huge impact, especially when you're trying to have to worry about Hendrickson, Hubbard, Miles, and Rankins. I mean, that's 4 people that you have to be able to block, and if you don't block one of them and you try to double team someone else, you're going to wind up just losing the battle. It's not going to matter who's covering deep in the safety. So I think Sheldon Rankins all day. I think it's going to be a battle between Sheldon Rankins and Hendrickson, who's going to get the sack title this year.
All right, so now I
It's
guess
going to be a healthy competition.
Since we had 2 people discuss the different players, let's all vote here. So, Zach, who gets your vote, Rankins or Stone?
I'm going Sheldon Rankins.
All right, Josh, who gets your vote?
Got to take myself off mute. Geno Stone.
All right, Nick, who gets your vote?
Obviously, Sheldon Rankins. I mean, D-line's huge.
Yeah. Sorry, Josh. Going Sheldon Rankins because I'm agreeing with him on that one.
Yeah.
You may be
No,
arguing.
Casey's only going for Sheldon Rankins because if he went Geno Stone, then we'd have to phone a friend and find a guest at the last minute to join us. So
I can get my wife. She's just in the next room.
Let's bring in Kristen or Cheyenne or Kathleen or somebody. I think my wife's almost not available right now. She's doing stuff upstairs. Which we're calling all the spouses here and get them to vote.
Well, I can always get one of the kids.
I think you're just buying votes at this point. Are you a liberal? What's going on? Anyways, I digress. This isn't a political podcast.
We're not getting political, Casey. We're not getting no Zach. Hand down. No politics.
So Zach, talk to us about Zach.
Well, no, I'm just kidding. So Zach Moss, in my opinion, I think he's a great running back to replace a Joe Mixon. We've talked about it before, where Zach is just a year younger than Mixon, but he doesn't have all the wear and tear that Mixon brought to the table over the last couple of years, mainly because he was a second and third back in Buffalo, and then he filled in and did really well in Indy last year, which is one of the reasons why we went out and got him. So I think it's going to make it interesting. I loved watching Zach when I was in Utah, right there down the street from the university there, back, I don't even know how many years ago it was at this point. That's right. Like he went and he played. He was, very forceful. He was in your face, and then he could also make players miss. So watching Zach move, I'm pretty excited about this one. So in my opinion, I think Zach Moss brings more to the table than Mike Gesicki does. Casey?
To play devil's advocate, no, it is Mike Gesicki all day long. He's going to expand the role. He's going to be able to be a huge target across the middle. He's going to make up for that Tyler Boyd gap, which we'll actually get to later and maybe touch on T. Boyd a little bit and figure out that situation. But he's going to be able to play a slot receiver / tight end. Don't know if he can block very well, but he's huge. He's a huge target. He's got good speed. He has good production in Miami. Last year was the dumpster fire. Nobody was good in New England. So it's hard to say, but in this offense, I could argue that a tight end is more important than a running back. If you have a good receiving weapon tight end, he could be better and more important than a running back in a 3 running back system. Because that's what the Bengals ideally should have, is a 3 running back system.
I don't disagree with you on a 3 running back system. However, I will play devil's advocate back to you on Mike Gesicki and having yeah, I'm devil's advocating for devil's advocate. Yeah,
Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to say it.
I triple dog dare you. Anyway, Gesicki. How do I want to put this?
Now he's off track. He shook.
I know.
You can't triple state double kick. It's just you can't do it.
He just realized.
I was going to make the argument as isn't this what I was going to make the argument? Isn't this what we talked about? Irv Smith Jr. was going to bring to the table last year. That he was going to open the offense and he was going to fill that role, and he didn't do that for us.
I really feel like with Irv Smith Jr., we're all kind of trying to squint and see it. But Gesicki's had some proven experience where he's done well in the NFL. Not like, oh, he's just had lots of injuries. We can't see. So I'm devil's advocating. You're devil's advocating. My devil's advocating. This is all discombobulated.
I was going to play devil's advocate to both of you all.
Fire, Josh.
We should have just picked Von Bell, and we wouldn't have this issue.
God, if we were getting paid, that would be amazing.
Oh goodness! All right,
Casey's
so
too cheap though.
let's just put it to a vote because our whole budget of $12. Don't feel bad, guys. I'll buy you each a beer. All right, put it to a vote. Josh, you get to vote first. Who are you picking?
Mike Gesicki.
Mike Gesicki. Nick, who are you picking?
I think I'm gonna have to side with Casey. Sorry, Zach, but I think Mike Gesicki. I mean, he can play like a slot receiver. I mean, I'm sorry, man. If he can block, if he can show up and block, he's probably going to be the most important pickup that we've had this entire free agency.
That was the argument of picking up Zach Moss, is that he actually can block. he does it, has done it, and he can do it better than Joe Mixon ever did, right? So if we're worried about him pass blocking, the Zach Moss still gets the
Talking
check
about
mark.
run blocking, dude. We're not going to be using Mike Gesicki for pass blocking.
You're going to use Mike Gesicki any way you want to use Mike
Noted.
Gesicki. You could use it for the pass blocking or the run blocking or whatever the case may be. But if
Just
you
because
want
you lost
somebody
the
else
argument.
no, I'm just saying, like, if you really want to go get an extra blocker for Joe, Zach Moss, in my opinion, gets the check mark over Gesicki.
All right, so Zach's picked Zach, obviously. And just because I like to make Zach mad, I'm going to pick Mike Gesicki.
Where's Greg when I need him?
That's what you get for devil's advocating my devil's advocate. You can't do that.
Mm.
We don't allow that kind of stuff on this show.
I'm
All
just going
right.
to go ahead and
To the
say
counter argument.
I think that we can all agree who's going to win this out.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
even
Mike
think-
Gesicki.
Sheldon Rankins is going to win this out.
Yeah, we're going to put Sheldon Rankins as the winner. Because the biggest thing that was wrong with the team last year, yes, Joe Burrow got hurt. The offense looked like garbage when Burrow wasn't healthy. But otherwise, the offense was fine. Yes, do they need better pass protection? Yeah, but they went to the Super Bowl with, 3 blind guys and 2 little school kids. So they can make it to the Super Bowl with a bad line. It's happened before. But that defense has to be good. And there was no pass rush. I remember watching the second Ravens game when Burrow got hurt. I literally counted to 12 multiple times while Lamar Jackson's not even running around, just standing there. You can't have that. And this is going to bring a pass rush. Sheldon Rankins is going to help improve us. So, Sheldon Rankins, you are the winner of the ridiculous Talking Bengals draft. And I can't spell and type. Ta-da! All right.
I think he just wins because he's bringing that confidence in the the run defense as well. I mean, he's kind of that dual threat. He can be out there on every down, like he was saying in his press.
Take your career to new heights with Constructive Curiosity. Whether it's career coaching, mental performance training, or business management consulting, Constructive Curiosity has the insight to get it right. Visit constructivecuriosity.com to get started today.
Conference. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I find a lot more confidence in bringing in him and sorry, DJ Reader, but letting you go, because he brings that whole package to the table as opposed to DJ Reader just being there for the run game.
His press conference was awesome. I don't know if everybody here got to listen to it or not, but it was awesome. I love the way he's like, I'm going to tell it how it is. I'm going to call it how I see it. I'm very blunt, drop a few F-bombs here and there. But he is who he is. I gotta love that about the guy, that he just doesn't hold back. And talked about giving what's the Kappa some crap last year when they were playing like this. How you guys are really gonna block me? Okay, if that's what the game plan is. It seems stupid, but that's what you want to do, sure. So he was just the confidence he has. He addressed the issue. People say, well, he's not a run stopper, he's just a pass rusher. He's like a couple of years ago, everybody saying I was just a run stopper and not a pass rusher. So I think I can do both. It just give me the opportunity. So, I mean, paying him a lot of money. He better pan out is all I'm saying right now, because we're putting a lot of faith in it. And if he doesn't pan out, we're going to be talking this time next year of, man, cut this guy, get some money back, and let's try again. But this is the time where all the hope springs eternal, and Sheldon Rankins is going to be the sack leader next year for the NFL. Woo! I don't think it's going to happen, but maybe. Never know. Wishful thinking.
I just like the fact that Sheldon actually is going to take some pressure off Trey. Logan was one of those guys. Hubbard was one of those guys. Reader helped out a little bit, but I think having somebody on the exact opposite side playing opposite to you is going to help open him up a lot more. And who knows, maybe when we're talking Defensive Player of the Year next year, we don't have to listen to about TJ Watt. We can listen to, Trey's name getting called.
Or Sheldon Rankins.
Yes.
Or Sheldon Rankins, either way, right? Because they're going to complement each other well, just kind of like they did in New Orleans, I think. So, and he even told, he's like, hey, I'm going to hold Trey accountable. Trey likes to fight. Trey liked to fight when he was a rookie in training camp, is what he was talking about in his press conference. So, the fact that you now added an accountability partner since day one or day zero, whatever you want to call it, to Trey on the defense, it just shows you that it's going to be a great year on the defensive front line. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not going to let the Browns, who don't give a crap, triple team him so he can't get a sack title, because there's got to be somebody else to be on the other side. All right, so moving on from our wonderful bracket. So happy March Madness to everybody. Whoever you pick to win, good luck. Don't waste a lot of money if you don't have it. That's just my free advice there. Not endorsed by the podcast, but it's a good life lesson. Don't bet money that you don't have. Okay, moving on. Dax Hill. So he's kind of the odd man out right now. He doesn't have a position because nobody's really picking him to start over Geno Stone or Jordan Battle right now. There's no slot safety or corner available right now because, Mike Hilton's still there. I feel pretty solid about the guys we have on the outside. DJ Turner's good. You got Cam Taylor-Britt's good. Could he be a third corner? Sure, I guess. But is that really what you want to do with the first-round pick? So this segment, we're going to go around and get everybody's opinions on kind of a buy, sell, or trade, with trade literally being trade on this one. Is he going to be a backup safety, a backup corner, or are the Bengals going to trade him? So which way are we going to go with this? So, Nick, you take it first.
I think buy. I'm gonna stick with buy on this one. I think having him learn behind Mike Hilton. Mike Hilton is getting older. He's not going to be around the league for very long, and we need someone to learn behind him to know what to do and how to play. So I think having him learn behind Mike is going to be a strength that the Bengals can use, especially with him still on a rookie deal. So,
all right, Zach, thoughts?
I'm gonna hold on to him. I think that just what we have within what we're building in this offseason and going forward, I think you still have to find out what you actually have before you can even find out if there is a trade market for him. And if you're looking at what we've done at safety, I don't know if anybody's going to pay us right now for Dax Hill, because there's still a lot of question marks out there on him. The potential is still, the upside is still on the potential, right? So I think like Nick said, I think you let him learn and put him behind somebody like a Mike Hilton, even a Von Bell, and learn to play it at a high level and see where it goes. And in a worst case scenario, he's an insurance policy for something drastic that may or may not happen. So, Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, keep him. He's got a lot of talent still, and he can tackle. He could be that tight end killer. Bengals been one of the worst teams in the league against the tight end. You need somebody with the size, the speed, and the physicality to be able to stop the guys like Mike Gesicki that we have now. I mean, if the Bengals played against him last season, you would have killed him. It doesn't matter what tight end is against you. If you're going against the Bengals, tight end's going to feast. So we need somebody like a Dax Hill that is able to cover the middle of the field. So I'd say keep him, turn him into that role, like the Trey Flowers role. I think he'd be perfect.
I mean, I say leave the phone lines open just to make a counter argument so we're not all in agreement here. Why not? If somebody wants to trade you, a third-round pick for him, which I think is a little bit pricey. I don't know if anybody would. But the Bengals couldn't be the only team with a first-round grade on him when he came out. Maybe there's one of those people that are like, well, they're misusing him. They're not putting him in a position where he's going to succeed. Maybe he needs to change the scenery. Maybe Harbaugh wants one of his guys back. Who knows? I mean, there's a chance that could happen. Who knows? But if somebody called me the Bengals right now and said, hey, third-round draft pick for Dax Hill, I'd say sign me up. Because you've seen what he is. Maybe he can develop into something else. But the Bengals brought in Trey Flowers a few years ago for what? Basically nothing. And he did that job really well for 2 years for basically nothing. You can find another old corner to come in, a big body, older corner to come in and guard tight ends for practically no money at all. And yeah, Dax Hill's on a rookie deal, so the money's not a huge deal. But he was not happy his rookie year when he was sitting. Is he going to be happy now with somebody back who was supposed to mentor him his very first year, and then now he's sitting behind another guy, and the guy drafted after him? Like, he's just literally sitting behind 3 people right now. I don't even think he's number 3 on the depth chart. So there's no spot at safety. The only place I really see him having any chance to play is as a backup slot and a backup outside corner. Because right now, if you look at our outside corner room, it's pretty thin. You have 2 good starters. Then after that, it's pretty thin. So maybe they think that's what he's going to do. I keep hearing, oh, he's got a lot of skills to play outside. But is he going to be mad? Is he going to be a cancer? Is he going to cause problems? I don't know his personal mentality. So I can't speak to that. All I'm saying is most first-round picks don't like getting bumped out of a starting job. And he may be a drama. I'm not really sure. I don't know the guy well enough to understand that. But I just keep my ears open. If somebody wants to give me a good trade option for him, why not? Any rebuttals from anyone?
I was just trying to pull up the what the depth chart looks like right now.
All right. So as Zach's pulling up the depth chart, let's talk about what was possible signings, but now it's official, so we don't have to talk about Mekhi Becton. Let's talk about Trent Brown, which is actually a much better signing in my opinion anyway. He's older. He's got a lot more, wear and tear, but he's a much better player. He has a much better proven track record of success in the NFL. So I think he's a much better option for the Bengals to be a 1-year rental where you can either get a tackle in the first round or second round, depending on how it falls to you. And either that guy beats him out in camp or you have a solid option to start off the season. What are your thoughts on Trent Brown, Nick?
I think he's a great pickup. I mean, like we were talking about earlier, I mean, having another big guy, we got 2 last name Browns, not Bloom. I mean, with him and Orlando at our tackles, I think it's a great pickup. He's just a big presence. Having somebody that large be able to block. I think having competition at that spot is going to only solidify how good our offensive line is going to be. We pick up Trent Brown. We have Orlando Brown Jr. We get a guard or somebody to replace Bolson. I think we're good. I think that we've literally done everything for our offensive line that Joe Burrow is going to need at that point.
I like it. Any other thoughts on Brown? Or else I got another topic for you 2 gentlemen on the bottom here.
Oh, I got one. I think this was probably the biggest pickup of free agency so far. I mean, he's definitely the most accomplished of everybody. 81.2 PFF grade last season. 334 snaps, only 17 pressures, 3 sacks. I think he's going to be – I think he could very easily be the best pickup. He's going to definitely solidify the right side of that line. Man-to-man, he's going to win just about every time, and he's shown that throughout his career. As an undrafted free agent, he has come out and just did what he had to do, kept his head down, and did his job.
All right. So, Zach, I'll give you a fresh topic because Josh had good stats there. So, Tierra Tart came to visit, but he didn't end up signing. Who will the Bengals sign to the defensive line before the season starts? Anybody else or no?
I think that's where your focus goes to in the first round. I think you look at the guy that Nick likes out of Texas. You might even look trade back a little bit, maybe see if you can get something better later in the draft with better value and get some more picks for the future. But I think that's your number one focus in your first couple rounds is going to be that interior line to replace a Reader. I mean, it would have been nice for homeboy to sign with us, but I mean, it is what it is. Something obviously didn't match well with whether it was a number or a fit or whatever the case may be. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, I like that thought. So with that, we'll move away from the free agency talk and the active player talk and move into Who Dey History. And the thing that's brought about this topic, we've talked about doing it for a few weeks, but other things have popped up to push this down the line. And it's not the exact same situation, so I won't say it is. There's a pre-existing relationship between Jefferson, Chase, and Burrow. But there was a time when the Bengals brought in another big-name wide receiver who was supposed to, complete the equation and make them a Super Bowl contender. And it was an effing disaster. There is no other way to say it than that. And that is Terrell Owens. Oh, goodness. Who wants to start Terrell Owens? Let's see.
I'll start.
Go for it.
Terrell Owens, what a time to be a Bengals fan. Getting all this hope. Terrell Owens coming in. He's going to be the 1-2 punch with Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco, also known as. I mean, wow. Terrell Owens had maybe one great game that entire year. And I mean, the guy had a great career, and then he comes to Cincinnati, and it's like, where did you go? Where did the Terrell Owens that we've been seeing throughout these years, where did he go? You expected so much out of him because he had produced so well. And I mean, Carson Palmer really liked to throw to Chad Johnson. I can't blame him. The guy could get open, triple covered in a phone booth. For you young kids, that's a really small space. Like imagine your half bath, just smaller. I mean, you had so many other receivers on the team at that point too. So I mean, I think kind of comparing, I think it's more apples to oranges with bringing in Jefferson. If we were to have traded T. Higgins for Jefferson, that would be offsetting, just taking out T. Higgins and bringing in Jefferson. That way you have two threats like Jamar Chase and Jefferson together. Not going to happen, obviously, but Burnsy's still hoping and praying.
It's still brewing.
Burnsy, what do you think?
It could happen.
I believe it. And if it's going to happen, it may not be this year. It might be next year. But I'm digressing here. So on TO, 983 yards and 9 touchdowns. I made a bet before the season started because I thought this was just a comedic thing for the Bengals to do. So with my boys Tim and Joe, we all three had a bet going that T.O. wouldn't even get 5 touchdowns after his abysmal year in Buffalo, right? Because that's what his numbers were in Buffalo, were 829 and 5 touchdowns. So there's no way he's getting more than 5. Not in this offense, not with the offensive line. Carson's done. And the dude gets 9. So my bet was to buy the TO jersey. And in turn, I actually took that jersey and gifted it to Joey for Christmas. So I still bought it, but I don't own it. Now I'm kind of kicking myself thinking, man, why did I let him have that jersey? So shout out to Joey. I hope you still got that bad boy.
Josh, what do you got?
I mean, he had worse hands when he came here than John Ross, it felt like. He could not catch the ball. Every intermediate.
Guess what? You just proved that advertising on podcasts works. Reach thousands of local listeners each week and grow your business. Reach out to Talkin Bengals today to find out more by emailing talkinbengals@gmail.com.
Pass. Everything that came his way, he just dropped, it seemed. I didn't know he had that many yards. Normally, I try to look up the stats while everyone else is talking, but I was like, no, there's no point. He sucked when he was here. And then when Chad Johnson started that TV show, I don't remember what it was, but it was that dating show.
Oh,
That's when those two guys together on that show, I was like, this is an absolute train wreck. And they both just, all the skill left their body when that show started. And I love Chad Johnson. I still love him. He's hilarious. But T.O., that was a big name guy that's supposed to get people excited to sell tickets, and he couldn't play when he came. So, go ahead, Case.
it's one of those. I think we forget how old he was when he showed up Cincinnati. 37 years old. We're not even 37 right now. I mean, of course, he's a world-class athlete. He can do all kinds of great things. 37 is no one's prime. It's just not. But, I mean, honestly, if you look at the whole length of his career, that was not even close to his worst year. Zach talking about Buffalo was a bad year. 99 in San Francisco, he didn't have a great year. I mean, that was early in his career. That was only year 4. But, I mean, very average. 72 catches, 983 yards, 9 touchdowns. Very average. What really hurt the team, like Josh was talking about, was all the off-field distractions. And a 32-year-old Chad Johnson, or Ocho Cinco, played like absolute crap with 67 catches, 831 yards, and only 4 touchdowns. So the age caught up with him. I know Chad was doing Dancing with the Stars, was doing that other dating show with T.O., and it was like T.O. or something like that, and it was just so bad. And of course, Carson Palmer at that one. Go ahead.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to go with, was like it was such a distraction that Carson Palmer threatened to retire at the end of the year unless we traded him. And Mike Brown was sticking to his guns there for a hot minute. We thought Carson Palmer's career was done. And then, they pulled the trigger, sent him off. We'd go get Andy Dalton. And, I mean, man, and AJ Green. Andy Dalton and AJ Green is the gift of TL. So,
but I mean, what an abysmal.
I'll take AJ, but Andy Dalton, we could have gotten somebody better.
Hey, Andy did well. He took us to the playoffs the first 5 years, 5 for 5.
It
was an over. I was gonna say it was 0 for 5, but like it still worked.
Don't bring back all those bad memories, Burnsie. We're not going there. We're not going to the dark place tonight.
We're talking about 2010. We're talking about 2010 Cincinnati.
We're not
Bengals
going to the
here,
dark place.
Nick.
We're not
going to the dark place. Too, that's coming right off of the back-to-back week ass whooping by the Jets the year prior.
There's our PG rating.
So dang it.
But, no. That's okay. You can say that word. You just can't say anything worse.
Yeah, it was bad. Because I remember in the last week of the season, like, oh, the Bengals just resting players. And then comes into the playoff game. No, they just get their butts kicked again by the stinking Jets. One of the few. Other than the AFC North team, they're one of the few teams that I absolutely just cannot stand. Obnoxious fans, garbage organization, no class. Yes, shots fired, New York Jets. Come at me. You don't even play it. You don't even play it.
Fred's coming for you.
Bring it. Go watch a game in New Jersey. That's all I'm saying. At least the Bengals play in Cincinnati, not in Covington.
It's close enough.
Close enough. It's not. I've flown over the stadium a few times. You got to go all the way out into a different state.
Hey, I've flown over it too.
Yeah.
It was simulated, but I did it.
And we are completely off the rails. I love it. So that wraps up Who Dey History. So,
well, hey, speaking of that, I actually have the same history to ask. Since you brought up the Andy Dalton stuff, who's better, Andy Dalton or Dak Prescott? I mean,
Andy Dalton.
The wins.
That's terrible.
Not far off, I wouldn't think. Neither of them can do anything in the postseason. They look good in the regular season. They've had teams that have had. I think the Bengals were second in the conference 1 year. They were the last team to lose, I think, 2015? Last team to lose their first game in 2015. He led that team. Dak Prescott hasn't done that.
Oh goodness, Dak Prescott. I'm trying to find a good stat comparison here. That's not 2023.
I'm going to PFR and digging into the archives here to do a player comparison.
Okay, so I'll just pontificate out of my backside until Zach has something stat-wise to back it up with, because Nick doesn't care about stats. So Andy Dalton is who I would pick out of that for one pure reason, and it's because he's a lot cheaper. He will give you the same kind of performance for a lot less money than Dak Prescott, who they're trying to he just took a $4 million pay cut to try to keep talent around him, but they're trying to extend him. Jerry Jones needs to get a power of attorney to somebody else because he is out of his mind. Dak Prescott has done, but he loves quarterbacks that do that. Tony Romo, how did he do in the playoffs? Bad, and he stuck around forever. Dak Prescott, how's he doing in the playoffs? Bad. For the longest time, too, that NFC East was trash. Yes, the Eagles are a good team right now. I can't say the whole division is trash. But how many years was it that Eli freaking Manning would go to the playoffs with a 9-7 team, win the division with a 9-7, a 10-6? Like, they weren't a good division. You could have easily won that division so many times. And when you did, you couldn't make it in the playoffs very far. So it's just absolutely frustrating. Nick, what other stuff do you have to fill airtime until Zach has stats?
I just have to mention that Zach shaved his mustache, and he looks great. You look so much more professional, young man.
Oh, he likes you.
Listen,
Zach, are you a 90s
if I
baby?
can have my beard, I am a 90s baby, actually. I'm actually the youngest of the four of us.
He's the kid of the show, so there we go.
Yeah, that's why I'm nursing this Coke Zero over here. I only shaved the mustache because I grew it out for my quarterly stuff for to meet with my battalion commander, and because he likes to make a comment if I don't have it. So I grow it out to appease him, and then immediately as soon as I'm done, I shave it off. Because then when he comes to my office, he's like, "Where's his mustache?" And so I just like to play mind games with him. And he's not watching this because he, wants to talk about last pitches.
I think that's great, though. The last pitch, I've never got to throw out a ceremonial last pitch. So if he could let me know how that works, I'm game.
I mean,
I'll go there and
hey,
out.
right. Technically, I have thrown a ceremonial last pitch. I almost lost my head because of it, but I did throw one. Oh, all right. So comparisons. Let's see. Breakdowns. Dak Prescott 73-41. Andy Dalton 83-78-2. So
Bam.
Dak takes it there. Completion percentage. Dak Prescott 67%. Andy Dalton 62%. Passing yards. Andy Dalton 38,511. Dak is only at 29,459. So passing yards and attempts 7.6 for Prescott, Dalton 7.1. Average passing yards a game 258 and 227. Again, most of this is going to go to Prescott, but Josh might be onto something here. I mean, even Dalton's even got him in rushing attempts. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, but at the same time, he has been around for a lot longer too.
Let's see. Let me scroll down here. Years, career. 2011 to 2023. All right, so he's got a 5-year bump on him, but the numbers are pretty comparable. It's kind of weird.
Now, see, what you need to pull up is the dollar difference.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, we give Mike Brown and Katie Blackburn a lot of crap over the last, 30 to 80 years, whatever it's been. But kudos for not paying Andy Dalton, right? Like, yes. Can you imagine Andy Dalton getting Joe Burrow money?
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
That'd be ridiculous. So I'm looking up real quick, just because I want to know what the contract difference is, and even if you think prime Andy Dalton. So I don't know his prime years, but right now 2 years, $10 million versus Dak Prescott 4 years, $160 million, and they are so similar. Yes, Dak takes a slight edge, but it's not like you're looking at Joe Burrow versus Andy Dalton, because that's a massive difference. You're talking about like your number one pitcher versus your number two, or number two versus number three, I guess would be the better comparison. They're both fine, but they're not your ace. You're not seeing a huge difference there.
I mean, we're not talking about like the Atlanta Braves when you had Glavine, Maddox, Smoltz. I mean, that's not, yeah.
This was like when we were trying to get compare who was going to be the better starter between Johnny Cueto and Bronson Arroyo.
Yeah.
And
Pretty
Bronson
similar.
all day.
Bronson Arroyo has a band now.
Yeah,
Down by the
Nuts.
river.
He's a what?
I had no idea. I just see it on Facebook now. Like, Bronson Arroyo? What?
Yeah, bring back. He also plays at the Blind Squirrel in Florence sometimes.
Oh, he does?
Hey,
Did not know
he
that.
lives in a van down by the river.
It's going to do him a lot of good.
Since I'm wearing the Blue Jays hat, my niece Caitlin is a diehard Joey Votto fan. She puts me to shame. She just sent me this. So
can't
read it.
she just
read
she
it.
She earned her top fan badge for the Toronto Blue Jays since they signed Joey Votto. So
That's a lot. Jeez, oh, Pete, that's a lot of love that's getting dished out in a very short amount of time to get a top fan badge.
hey, I'm back.
Is she a top fan of Talkin Bengals? That's the real question.
Oh, you know what? That's a good question. I'd have to ask her on that one. But
Calling her out,
you know,
later tonight. We're doing it.
since we're talking about it, Casey, first pitch, first at bat of your spring training debut is a home run. What do you think?
Yeah, blind squirrels find an acorn every now and then.
Let's see you doing that.
Sign me up, coach. Let's do this. Who's pitching? What
Just
level
saying.
is
Hey, I have to say, Joey Votto has very elite hand-eye coordination. The guy he's a great baseball player. Of course, this is not a baseball podcast, but to just talk a little bit of
We're
baseball.
going off the rails, Nick.
I just
Okay.
got to give Zach crap. I don't hate Joey Votto
Just-
as much as Zach says I do, but I got to give Zach crap as much as I can.
Just a little bit of
That's
baseball.
because I give you crap about your opinion on Pete Rose. So
Okay, crap.
One should be an Inner Circle Hall of Famer, one's a Fringe Hall of Famer. Just saying. There's a difference there.
Let me.
you just said words. That's all I heard.
Said
Go
one
ahead,
is
Nick.
Inner Circle, one is
Come on,
Fringe.
children.
Nick,
Okay.
what did you have to say?
So just to talk a little bit of baseball, the hand-eye coordination that Joey Votto has to consistently hit as well as he has, I mean, you do have to put him in a conversation up with as one of the top hitters that's ever played the game. I mean, he's been hitting really well his entire career.
So you gotta say top.
I mean,
hitter,
was it been
top batter? Because he walks a lot, which is important. Getting on base is very important. It's the most important thing you can do in baseball is getting on base. But is he a great
You're a
hitter?
batter?
Great
It's the
batter.
same thing, Casey.
No, it's
It's the
not.
same
It's
thing.
totally
Yeah.
different. Hitting means you make contact with the ball. Because it's different.
When you go to an at bat, you are a potential hitter.
But it's
If
a
he's not
plate
swinging at-
appearance. Look at the stats. It's not a walk is not an at bat. It's a plate.
He's not swinging at bad pitches. That is a great hitter. Thank you. I win. You lose. Grow some hair.
I don't think so.
No, I'm laughing at Josh because he decided to go get his red stuff.
Podium Automotive is a proud sponsor of Talkin Bengals. In Greater Cincinnati, it's Podium Automotive for all your auto needs. Skilled technicians, quality service you can trust, and fair prices. Tell us Talkin Bengals sent you and get 5% off all services. Schedule your appointment today on Facebook at Podium Automotive or call 859-869-0097.
Out of the closet for the rest of the podcast.
So welcome into Talking Reds. No, we're not going there because they're really depressing right now. I don't really want to go there.
What? They've
Although,
had a pretty good spring up in the last couple weeks. I mean, or a couple days.
Playing tomorrow.
Yeah, Marte's out for 80 games. Friedel's out for the next 3 to 6 weeks, somewhere in that range.
So
Fairchild's
Marte's only out half the season, okay?
Yeah, I don't want to see Stuart
Give us playoffs
Fairchild.
if they make it.
Well, I did see. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of control, but it is what it is. But as soon as Joey Votto hit his home run, all the Reds beat writers wrote on their MLB stuff and said, "Are the Reds going to regret letting Joey Votto walk?" And I went, "Duh."
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. No way, no how. I hope he does well in Toronto. I'll be honest with you. It'd be good for him to just show he can do it somewhere else. But he would not be the third best first baseman on that team. His defense has gone down dramatically. He's the David Justice version of like Moneyball now. He can get on base. That's what he can do, which is important. But the Reds right now don't need a relic that can get on base. They need to develop their future. They have to get better. Kind of like clock is telling us it's time to stop talking now. I'm just gonna let it keep going.
No,
I muted it. So let it go.
I was just trying to cover up my mic because my son's yelling down the hall that he has to go potty. So
I thought we were gonna have a guest appearance tonight. We're gonna name the episode after it, but apparently that never happened. So
Yeah, she's in bed right now.
Fail.
She was waiting on it, man, but she went to bed and didn't come back.
Well, you know what? Fail. That's what we're gonna call this whole episode. No, I'm just kidding. We'll come up with something catchy. But I think we're about at the end here, gentlemen. So let's see. Final thoughts, Josh.
Go Reds. And Who Dey?
Like it. Nick, what you got?
I'm actually excited.
Looking for a great book? Check out Once Left the Field of Valor. When Damien Shaw finds a blood-stained envelope after a battle, he is struck by a series of debilitating flashbacks that threaten to unhinge him. The letter leads him on a grueling journey of penance to present it to its intended recipient. This addicting page-turner is filled with action, suspense, romance, and perseverance. It will keep you on edge to the very end and leave you wanting more. Get your printed edition or ebook today on Amazon.
About this upcoming season. I think that we have legitimate reason to be excited this year. I was not this optimistic last year.
Like it. Zach, plug the socials and give us your final thoughts.
all right. So if you want to give us a follow, go to talking_Bengals on the Instagram or on YouTube. Everything else is just Talking Bengals. All of this is without G's, by the way. So as you can see over their heads, it's just with an apostrophe. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Reels, not Reels. What's the Threads? Excuse me. I'm butchering this. I'm the worst promoter that we can ever have. Yeah, just go to our beacons. That's all there, right? Like and subscribe to all of our different places. We're Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other different things that we have out there for us to listen to. Other than that, it's good to be back. Miss you guys. Enjoy your time, and Who Dey.
That sounds good. I think you guys have covered everything. Enjoy, have fun, get some March Madness in, and Who Dey.
Who Dey.
Who Dey?
Who Dey.